Dog lovers accuse me of misrepresenting dog bite statistics. They say I am exaggerating the incidence of dog bites. They continually talk about how serious dog bites are actually, quote, rare. They claim I'm making it seem as though dog bites happen more frequently and are more serious a problem than they actually are. They say the truth isn't as scary as I make it out to be. They accuse me of fear mongering. They say I'm spreading misinformation. They think I am being unfair to dogs and that I'm painting them in an undeserved negative light. They say dogs are really not the threat I make them out to be, and that dogs are not doing as much damage as I claim they are doing. And that is why I have so many haters, and why so many dog lovers are angry at me. In my interactions with them, these dog lovers invariably point to an article published by caninejournal.com, which presents dog bite statistics in what they say is a more realistic light, showing how the numbers really are not that alarming. According to these dog lovers, Canine Journal's presentation of the statistics is more realistic. Well, just one quick look at the Canine Journal website, and any critical thinker will realize it's a site that cannot be trusted. First thing you see when you visit this website are ads. Tons of them. There are ads on nearly every page. Ads for all sorts of dog products, including but not limited to dog breath fresheners, doggy toilets, doggy goggles, doggy grooming products, dog orthopedic beds, dog crates, dog ramps, herbal supplements for dogs, health insurance for dogs. The list goes on and on. The entire website is more a place to go shopping than it is a place to learn about dogs. In the About section, the owners of the website describe themselves as dedicated dog lovers. And you can see that they are fully entrenched in dog culture. Check out my video called The Dog Cult. It's very clear these people absolutely worship dogs. Their excessive and single-minded zeal for dogs clearly demonstrates how fanatical they are. As I explained in my video about the dog cult, people who are in a cult believe they are on a mission to do good, to save the world, in this case, to save dogs. And they believe the end justifies the means. In other words, they believe they can lie and deceive people as long as it helps them accomplish their goal. In this case, their goal is to get people to own and love dogs. And they are being very deceptive and dishonest in the process of achieving this goal. They tell people anything they have to, and they go to any lengths in order to get people to believe, as they do, that dogs are pure, loving, innocent, loyal, faithful, good, even better than humans. Some will accuse the people behind dogsbite.org of being fanatical. I made a video about dogsbite.org, which I encourage you to check out. Dogsbite.org is a non-profit organization that advocates for victims of dog bites, working to reduce serious dog attacks. Dog lovers try to discredit dogsbite.org, but they can't. Some will accuse supporters of dogsbite.org of similarly being in a cult, with a mission of trying to save the world from the harm dogs do. But there is a difference between Canine Journal and Dogsbite, which I will explain. First, let's consider all the advertising on the Canine Journal website. Page after page after page of countless dog products for sale, all with links to purchase them on Amazon. Are these companies that are selling these products not paying the owners of Canine Journal to advertise their products? Do these companies not have a vested interest in the things the owners of the website write about dogs? Are they not paying the owners of the website to state only good things about dogs and paint dogs in a positive light so that people will choose to get dogs and purchase their products? You bet they are. This is a huge money-making racket. We're talking about a very powerful $70 billion per year industry. The owners of the website have been bought. You can't trust anything they say when they are backed by large, powerful companies that are paying them. In contrast, the dogsbite.org website reveals minimal advertising. The only products I found advertised for sale are a couple of books. There's also a link to dog bite lawyers. That's about it. The owner of the website is not a professed dog lover. She's not biased. Her goal is to raise awareness and get people to see the truth about dogs. Dogs Bite is a non-profit organization. They are not publishing articles written by dog lovers for dog lovers. They are also not publishing articles written by dog haters for dog haters. The organization publishes a website that contains unbiased accounts of dog bite-related fatalities throughout the United States, victim testimonies, statistics, and an overview of breed-specific legislation within the United States. The organization also provides statistics and information to news organizations and for legal and legislative support. It's purely information-based. The only links you will find, besides those links to a couple of books, are links to news reports from countless independent sources which are not biased or trying to sell anything. If you can prove any information on their website is inaccurate, they will remove it. There's no dishonesty, no manipulation. Now, Canine Journal published an article which was updated April 4th of this year entitled Dog Bite Statistics, How Likely Are You to Get Bit? I'll link you to it in the description. Dog lovers frequently refer to this article as a more accurate portrayal of dog bite statistics. But anyone who is able to think critically will see this article is grossly misrepresenting the facts. They are taking the actual numbers of dog bites, but spinning them in a way that makes it look as though dog bites are rare. For example, they focus on the fact that in 2016, there were 78 million dogs in the USA, but only 4.5 million dog bites that year. So what they're focusing on is that a small percentage of the dog population is biting people, to make it seem as though the problem isn't so bad. It's just a small percentage, after all. The vast majority of dogs are not biting, so we're blowing things out of proportion, they say. Through large, colorful infographics, they draw attention to the fact that 81% of bites cause no injuries. This is psychological trickery. This is a classic example of misuse of statistics. I'm linking you to a Wikipedia page as a starting point where you can learn more about misuse of statistics. It states, quote, "An insidious misuse of statistics is completed by the listener, observer, or audience. The supplier, in this case Canine Journal, provides the, quote, statistics as numbers or graphics, allowing the consumer, you, to draw possibly unjustified or incorrect conclusions. The poor state of public statistical literacy, this means most people aren't very skilled at reading or understanding statistics, and the non-statistical nature of human intuition permits us to be misled without explicitly producing faulty conclusions. In other words, the numbers are correct, but our intuition interprets the situation differently from what's actually happening. If a person isn't very skilled at reading or understanding statistics, they can look at the graphic on Canine Journal, on the page in the article, and then reach the conclusion that dog bites are rare. And that is Canine Journal's intention. But serious dog bites are far from rare. So 81% of bites cause no injuries? So what? 19% of bites do. And that's a lot of injuries. They make it appear as though the number of injuries is small, when in reality, dogs bite at least 12,329 people every day in the USA alone. 750,000 of those dog bites require medical attention every year. That's 2,055 dog bites that require medical attention every single day in the US. 28,000 people require plastic surgery every year in the USA due to dog attacks. That's 77 people who undergo reconstructive surgery every day in the USA due to dog attacks. As you can see, these numbers are not small. Canine Journal wants you to believe serious dog bites are rare, but 2,055 serious bites requiring medical attention every single day, and 77 reconstructive surgeries every single day due to dog attacks is not rare at all. This is the equivalent of saying that even though hundreds of thousands of people have had their eyes seriously damaged by a certain brand of contact lenses, the problem isn't that bad, because millions more people used those contact lenses and suffered no damage to their eyes. Of course, it is a very serious problem to those who suffered damage to their eyes. Now, how insensitive and wrong is it to minimize their trauma and their grief in this manner? It's like saying it's not a big deal if 750,000 owners of a particular car model had their gas pedals stick, resulting in serious accidents and injury. It's not a big deal because millions more drove that model of car without experiencing any malfunction. So what's the big deal? If 750,000 people were being seriously injured every year because a particular model of car was malfunctioning, would we keep that model on the market just because millions more did not experience any malfunction or injury? Of course not. The car model would be taken off the market immediately. In fact, just one malfunction, just one injury would be enough to issue a recall. If just one person sustained eye damage from a certain brand of contact lenses, or if a certain type of appliance exploded and disfigured even one person, our leaders would issue a recall on that brand, even if millions more suffered no injury from the product. It wouldn't matter. That one injury to that one person would warrant a ban on the sale of the product, because that product has the potential to injure others. Now here we have 750,000 people being seriously injured by dog bites every year, sustaining injuries that are serious enough to require medical care. And people are saying it isn't a big deal. They're saying it's rare. They're saying it's not an issue because millions more didn't get bitten. What kind of logic is this? 77 reconstructive surgeries every day due to dog attacks, and this is rare? This makes absolutely no sense. It's completely irrational. And then there's a section in the article on why dogs bite, which is also misleading. Among the reasons given are dogs bite as a reaction to stress. They may be scared or threatened. They may bite to protect themselves or their puppies or owners. They aren't feeling well or are startled. And they may nip or bite during play. It says, quote, "Keep these triggers in mind anytime you're around a canine. Your awareness of their mental state will help you recognize a potential bite situation more quickly," end quote. All of this might be true, but they are leaving out some very important information. The information they do give places the responsibility solely on the humans. If the dog bites you, it's because you weren't aware of their mental state. You didn't read the dog's body language. What they don't explain in the article is that it's really, really easy to startle a dog. A dog can become startled by the sound of a cough, which will trigger it into attacking and killing a baby. This happened in San Diego, California in April 2016, when a neutered male dog bit and killed a 3-day-old baby because it was startled by the sound of the mother sneezing. The article fails to mention that dogs regularly launch vicious attacks because they got startled by a sudden movement or a sudden noise. Movements and noises which are completely natural, which any human should be able to make without fear of being attacked. In October 2018, a toddler in Katherine, Australia, named Logan Grieve, lost his eye when the dog attacked him. The family dog was startled because the child, quote, "came around the corner and startled the dog." A child should be able to come around the corner in their own home without the risk of losing their eyes. There are countless more incidents like this that you can read about on dogsbite.org or Daxton's Friends, which is another good website. I could list many examples, and I will provide a bunch of links in the description, but I can't talk about this all day. We'd be here all day. I will make future videos about this, though. The article mentions the article on Canine Journal mentions how a 15-year study in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association identified multiple factors to a fatal dog bite attack, none having to do with breed. These include, among other things, the dog owner failing to neuter or spay the dog. Again, this might increase risk, but if I refer you back to the story of the baby that was killed in San Diego when the mother sneezed, that was a neutered male dog. So we have a neutered dog that killed a baby. I'm sure it wasn't the first. It's not going to be the last. The way these things are presented in the article, people who are not critical thinkers might believe that by neutering their dogs, the risk is all but eliminated. It isn't. Another factor in fatal dog bites which they list is the victim having no familiar relationship with the dog. The truth is, serious and fatal dog attacks involving children are often inflicted by a family dog within the family's home. I'm linking you to a dogsbite.org page which archives such stories so you can read through these reports for yourself. In October 2018, Denali Gonzalez, a 2-year-old, was killed by her family's new dog in Alvin, Texas. In May 2018, Gage Eckenrode, 6 years old, killed by a family pit bull in Lakemont, Pennsylvania. October 2018, Trinity Harrell, 1-year-old, died of her injuries after being attacked by the family pit bull. I could go on and on, but please see that webpage and click on the links to read through the stories. They also list prior mismanagement of the dog or abuse or neglect of the dog as a factor. Yet in the majority of reports, there is no evidence at all of mismanagement, abuse, or neglect. How dog lovers can continue to insist the dogs were mistreated in some way is beyond me. Did they research each and every report to determine the dog was mistreated? The shocked witnesses, family members, friends, and authorities say the dogs were well trained, raised with love, and were cherished members of the family. Who are you to state otherwise? They imply dogs only attack if provoked or if the warning signs they give go ignored by their irresponsible owners or the child who is not taught better. Always blaming the victims. What Canine Journal fails to mention are the regular reports of dogs escaping their enclosures, sliding glass doors open, digging under fences, jumping off balconies, breaking their restraints, jumping into parked cars to attack kids that are strapped in their car seats, attacking a baby placed on the couch in her car seat, attacking babies that are sitting in bouncy chairs or sleeping in their bassinets or cribs. These children did nothing to provoke the dogs. They might have cried, but my golly, a child should be able to cry in his or her home without running the risk of being attacked. It's not like these children misread any body language or didn't see the signs. Dogs regularly launch vicious, unprovoked attacks on children who did absolutely nothing wrong. Yet rarely, if ever, is this acknowledged by dog lovers. Canine Journal doesn't talk about the countless dog attacks on people who were out just taking a walk, minding their own business. I will go over many such stories in future videos. But dog lovers will have you believe the dogs that attacked were not trained or socialized properly or that they were abused in some manner, but there's just no evidence to back this up. Usually the dogs were the sweetest dogs until they weren't. The article points out that you are more likely to be killed by other things. This is irrelevant, and there's no logic in this whatsoever. Just because a person is more likely to die from choking or a firearm discharge does not mean you should add to that risk by bringing a dangerous animal into your house. It's like saying, oh, there's a greater chance I could die from coming into contact with hornets or wasps. So let me go swimming with these crocodiles. Or, I'm more likely to die in a car crash, so let me keep a tiger as a pet and endanger not only myself, but my entire community. This is ludicrous. We should be trying to make our communities as safe as possible. We should be trying to eliminate risk, or at least reduce it. We can't stop eating. We can't stop cataclysmic storms. We can't always avoid hornets and wasps. Many of us need to drive our cars, and sometimes we just need to get on an airplane. But we don't need dogs. That is why we can and should ban them. We don't need dogs in the same way we don't need tigers. There's a list on the Canine Journal article of dogs that are apparently the most aggressive, and also a list of breeds that have the strongest bite. None of this is relevant. All dogs can and do bite. Granted, some breeds will do more damage than others. Some are more likely to kill you, but all breeds listed in the article are powerful breeds. I don't see how it matters. When a person is being mauled, it really doesn't matter if that dog is an Akita Inu or a Dogue de Bordeaux or a Rottweiler. When those teeth sink through your flesh or when they crush your baby's skull, I promise you, you won't care about the breed. Canine Journal is clearly biased, while dogsbite.org is not. The dog lovers visiting the website believe dogs are good. This colors their perception, and they only look for evidence to support this belief, while rejecting evidence that does not support it. And they like Canine Journal because everything on that website supports their beliefs. I'm linking you to an article from Psychology Today about the many ways we distort reality. It states that when you have an idea in your mind, in this case that dogs are great, you tend to look for evidence that supports that idea and not pay attention to evidence that says the idea isn't accurate. This searching for evidence that supports your belief while rejecting evidence that doesn't is called confirmation bias. The Psychology Today article also states that your first perception of something affects your later perceptions and decisions. So if your first perception of dogs is positive, this will affect the way you see dogs in the future. You will see them in a positive light. You will be biased, and you will ignore the negative facts about them. Dog lovers accuse dog haters of having their perceptions of dogs affected in the opposite way. They assume that if you hate dogs, it means you had a negative experience with a dog in the past. You must have been bitten as a child or something. This is not the case. I know many people who were never attacked by a dog, but have done the research and are aware of the reports and statistics. They are able to think critically and in doing so, come to the conclusion that dogs really aren't that great. Even though they have never had any personal negative experience with dogs. Like many other dog haters, I used to love dogs. After informing ourselves, though, we have realized that many other people are having very negative experiences. Many of us had very positive experiences with dogs in the past, and we once loved dogs, but our opinions changed once we acquired new information. One does not need to have a personal negative experience with a dog to feel empathy for someone who has had a negative experience. It seems to be a lot harder for some people to change their opinions when presented with information that doesn't support their beliefs than it is for others. Why that is still a mystery to me, but I think it's harder for a person to change their opinion when that opinion shapes their identity. For example, someone who considers themselves a good person because they rescue dogs will have a harder time changing their opinion about dogs than a person who simply owned a dog and didn't make it a part of who they are as a person. The Canine Journal website is biased. Their article about dog bite statistics does not accurately reflect the prevalence of serious dog bites. It paints dogs in a positive light while failing to address the reality of dog attacks. It ignores many important facts. It misuses the statistics in order to manipulate the reader into drawing faulty conclusions. This is not a website you can trust. The people who run it are not interested in presenting the truth. All they care about is recruiting more members into the dog cult and keeping the members they have. Please think critically.